So, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Patrik Forsberg. I run a place called Stilla Studios in Stockholm, Sweden. And this is going to be a little bit odd, I guess, because I'm not going to talk too much about actual rendering. I'm going to be talking about how we use RT rendering to get everything right on set. I'm here to talk about how you guys, how many of you would call yourself VFX artists or artists? How many artists do we have in the audience? Right, so most of you are. Perfect. Because it's for you guys that we do this. I started off as a director myself, so the big reason, the big question is, how can I be standing here talking about a VFX artist's guide to blending realities with kick-ass data in and out for post-production using motion control, Loop, Film Engine, and Vray Rt. Well, I started off as a director myself, and I was the worst kind. I was, you've seen them all, or you've seen us all. The guy who takes a piece of green cloth, puts it up somewhere, and, expects you guys to fix it. I was the guy who was just calling out, no, get that VFX guy out of my way, I'm shooting. I was the absolutely worst kind. And there are still many of us out there. Anyone had a problem with something coming in, ever, from set? 1, 2. If I jump down a little bit on my presentation here, my tech guys calculated how many ways you can go wrong on set. And it's 1,048,575 upphöjt till, vad heter det på engelska? I don't know. At the power of 256, and that's like more atoms than we have in the universe. That's how many ways things can go wrong on stage. That's how many mistakes people can do on set and then just deliver to you guys, because there's only one way to do it perfectly. And then of course it's a bunch of different ways that you guys can go in and solve the mistakes done on set, and that's part of your job. But to me it's really, really important to let you artists be artists, to give you pixel on pixel so that you can make the shot better looking, more beautiful, and not be the ones who go in and saves the director's ass. So I'm going to jump back a little bit. I started off, my first VFX production, I started off as a director back in '93 or something, and then it took all the way into somewhere 2000. I won this script writing contest from TV4, and all of a sudden I was sitting there with 2 million's worth of TV time for a script that I had written for a gay Swedish magazine that I didn't know anything about. I just had this script that I liked. And I went up to them and said, hey, do you want this 2 million? And they said, yeah, but we can't afford to do anything with it. So I was lucky enough to be working with a guy called Patrik Forsberg, and he helped me out, and he introduced me to how to shoot for CG and for VFX. And this was the film that we shot. And of course, now I would need the sound I just said no to. Okay, it might be noisy. Okay, so take a standard story, take King Kong, turn it upside down, the ape takes the guy instead of the girl. Nothing weird about that, but really expensive to shoot. So Peter helped me out, and this is what we did. This was early 2000 sometime. And all of a sudden I realized that, okay, if I do this right. If I do this the way that my VFX artist wants me to do it, I'm going to look better as a director. And that's when I gave up directing and I decided, okay, let's set up a studio where we can deliver as good material as possible to the people that we work for. And we define it as shooting live action on CGI with repeatable moving camera, pixel-on-pixel accuracy, live preview, and streamlined workflow for serious post-production. And in short, this is to make sure that you guys get the best possible material. And yes, to go back to how many different things that can go wrong on set. These are just some of the things that have to be accurate, to be right. I mean, the camera has to have the right height, the angle, the direction, focal length, backplates, lens distortion, depth of field, width of field. If you're shooting, if you're shooting and blending realities, if you have one foreground and one background, then all of these have to be right. Light direction has to be right, light intensity, light sharpness, color temperature, and moving nodal points match, scale match, timeline match, and camera path time match, and start-stop match. Everything has to be right. And whenever something goes wrong here, it's you guys who have to fix it. And you will be spending hours and hours doing something that doesn't really do anything to the final shot, because it's what the director expected in the first place. And like I said, a bunch of combinations of stuff that can go wrong. This is what we like to deliver. This is something that we did for a Norwegian friend of ours who didn't believe that we could deliver pixel on pixel. Okay, so this is just a very, very simple dinosaur that we had, and then we wanted to put someone on him. And if you look at the floor, you see the camera's moving, the dinosaur's moving, and we are taking the data from this shot, we pump it into our system, so there you have a little platform moving, and the camera's moving, and everything is in 100% sync with the 3D. So putting this on top of each other, this is what you get. This is what we like to call pixel on pixel, and then we can send it off to the artists, and the artists, they can make their magic. And before we go into that, or I can go through this first, this is a typical work in progress over at our place. So we use different engines to show on set what's going on. This is Film Engine. We use it to let the directors work in a surrounding that they are used to. So setting up a simple set, then we let the director put on his Oculus glasses. He can walk around, look around, and he can use this in order to decide where the camera goes, where the actors goes, etc., etc. Just like if it was on an ordinary set. From there, we can let him move stuff around. We could let him place his digital actors if he's got some digital actors. So he will be in a surrounding that he recognizes from real shoots. And once you've done that, you can go in, you can move, set up your cameras, let the director and the DOP decide where the cameras goes, where the actual actors are going on set. Once you've got your actors in there, do your keying. Once you've keyed it, let the DOP go in and do his work, looking around and see how can I match the lights, etc., etc. After that, shoot it. I hate pre-programmed moves, so everything in the studio is run manually, so that we get live shots. And of course, everything goes straight out. We get our FBXs out. We get everything out for you guys. But I'm coming back to that. Director of photography, the DOP, can shoot just the way he's used to, and he will have the green screen, and he will have a pre-comped screen. And as we shoot out all these clips. We shoot out your FBXs, your alembics, your backgrounds, your foregrounds, your everything, so that the artist can be sitting in parallel with the shoot and verify that everything has been done the right way on set. And at the same time, you can have your editor working on the proxies, and once that is done, this is what we get out. This is not the final production at all. This is the previs. This is what we use to take the right decisions on set, to make sure that things match, that you get pixels on pixels, that you don't have floating feet, that you don't have to stretch and bend stuff afterwards. Many times you will be in a situation where you need even better information, lighting information on set. Who has been working with Vray Rt? Good, excellent. I mean, think of it, blending realities, it's a fantastic tool. We used to be waiting like 45 minutes to an hour and a half for the DOP to get that real proof. Is this light blending? Or am I just going to move on, not care about blending, not care about matching, and keep my fingers crossed and say those dreaded 4 words that cost more than anything else in the film industry? You know what 4 words? Fix it in post. That's the 4 most expensive words you can hear a director say on set. Because he just takes his mistakes and he shuffles them over to you guys. I would like to see if I can do something. Keep my fingers crossed. I'm going to make a short telephone call. Just a second. If I may. Bad thing talking on the telephone on stage like this. As I do that, keep my fingers crossed someone answers. Yeah, we got someone there. Hey, can I log in? Thank you. And it is HTTPS. Yeah, there we are. Okay, here we are. That's the studio. So right now we're live at the studio. We have this interface so we can look around a little bit. This is the overview camera. We have a second overview camera so we can look from another angle. We have, I don't know if the operating camera works. If it does, yeah, it does. That's Thomas. Hey, Thomas. Hey. And we have our main camera clean. Looks like that. Can we send someone in front of the camera, Thomas? Okay, so there we are with someone in front of the camera. And if we are to shoot right now, I mean, if I would be directing this right now, we have been doing this from all over the world. We have had people directing us all the way from Brazil. So if we can get some action on this, if we could say, run camera, please. And then do some radical moves for me, please. That's good acting. Don't call us, we might call you. Okay, can we take one more? I'm going over to, so we can see what's happening in there. All right. And cut. So, shooting it like that, and now I keep my fingers crossed again. I put on my glasses. I mean, this could end any way we want. We go into the FTP. Log in. Fingers crossed. Shoot. Extras. Okay, and what's today's date? It's, that's today. So here we have them. All the files that we just shot are there for you guys to start working with. So we got your alembics, your FBXs, your foregrounds, your backgrounds. We have a number of roof cams so you can see exactly where the lights are, etc., etc. Thomas, I thank you. Okay, thanks. All right, going back to the presentation. One of the first things we did like this, some of you guys might have seen this. This is a friend of ours. His name is Alf. He came to us with a 3D scene that he had made. Everything was 3D in the scene. It looked a little bit fake with the character up there, so we said, okay, so let's put in a live character. We just took the data that we got from him. He did a real-time rendering of this, and we added the actor on top. That guy, actually the same guy that you saw the other second, and it looks like this when we shoot. So, having him up on the platform, our MacGyver-style gun, that's what we shoot on set. That's what we used to see. I mean, that's motion builder. A motion builder is not good enough. It doesn't, you know, you don't get your lighting data. And that is the big difference for us. Using RT, I mean, using everything from Film Engine to Vray Rt to get the exact data. I mean, the more exact we want to get, the longer rendering times we're going to get. But then again, we're going to save all that time on your end. And that's what comes out in the final production. Quick talk about the setup. We shoot motion control. We also have handheld cameras, of course, but I'm just going to show you the fun stuff here. We shoot motion control, and we make it super accurate. It's down to 0.0018 degrees. And the reason for that is, if you're like on 1 degree or something, once you get 20 meters away, you will have feet start floating around and you will not be there. We shoot without tracking markers, because we don't want you guys to spend time taking away tracking markers. We need to have a system that is good enough for us to just give you a backplate, give you the FBX, and then get to work. The studio is built around the motion control and around our needs. Once a year we decide what technology to use, because to be that accurate you have to use your own camera, your own lenses, your own distortion grids, your own everything. Because remember that in your world everything is super exact. In our world it isn't. We got like 9 layers of glass with light going through it, and it's going to distort, it's going to look strange. Your stuff is perfect, ours is not. I'll get back to the software. Some cool toys that we have. To the left over there, you see a top projection. That's probably one of the best tools that we have. We get a 3D top projection. I mean, the whole studio is thought of as an extension to your 3D program. So once we've set up the backgrounds, we will get a top projection just like if you would be looking on the top view in the 3D. So the actors can know where to go. Where do we put all our stuff in the studio? How do we match stuff so you guys don't have to move stuff around when you want to blend it with your 3D things? Motion control, at its simplest, is shooting on a still like this. You see, the whole motion control is moving, and it's moving around the nodal point in the lens. And as you know, that nodal point is moving when you pull focus. The nodal point, you have it. I mean, when you open your programs, you just see a camera and that's it. That's the nodal point. In reality, it's somewhere in the lens. And the lens is usually not a 50mm. It's a 49.63708mm lens. And that has to match. Okay, so shooting this, panning and tilting around the nodal point, get to something like this. So I'm soon going to get into the 3D stuff. This is just to explain how the motion control works and why it works for us. That is the shot that we get from our client. They shoot all their catalogs themselves. They want everything to look as their catalogs, so they send us that shot. We put it into the system. We do our panning and tilting of the guy jumping. The system spits out the one down to the left, and then we just put it pixel on top of each other, and we get out the final comp down to the right. A little bit more complicated. This is me in London, shooting a street, and then, as if we were in any 3D program, we track it. But instead of sending that track out to a 3D program, we send it into the motion control so that we can repeat that exact move, but with a physical camera once again, just like you would have in your 3D programs. But knowing that actors never ever do what you tell them to, we shoot the 6K backplate, and then we go into that, we do some mathematical magic, and we get the depth of field right, and then we can pan and tilt within that move. And it'll look something like this. So down to the left, that's what the camera sees. Down to the right, that's what DOP and director sees. And up to the left is what ended up in the production. 3D. This is something that we did all the way back in 2011, long before we had the tools we have today. You see the live 3D down to the left, very, very rudimentary. We saw volumes moving around, that's what we saw. It doesn't help very much. The guys who did the post on this did amazing work, because all they had was that, and how stuff moved around. And then they had to be working the lights, just like I guess all of you have done with shots coming in like this. But it's not good enough. We want you guys to be able to see what was the lighting on set, or even better, for us to bring in your previses on set, so we can use your lighting on set. The final production looked like this. And once again, I just wanted to brag a little bit. Have a look at that. There's no tracking markers whatsoever, because we trust the system. It's super accurate, and that speeds things up. I mean, of the 100 most successful films ever, 100% have been using blending reality techniques, live action on CGI, getting layers on layers. They're all super expensive, but we would like to democratize the right to doing these expensive shots, so that we can do it in Sweden, that we can do it in Europe. I mean, we're 9 million people in Sweden. Our movie budgets aren't very large, because we don't have enough people that come and pay to watch them. So we need to put every single cent up on the screen. We cannot. I mean, I've been doing international shots where we had the most expensive shot I ever did had almost a third of the budget of one of these films. One shot, a third of the budget. Here the guys did, I think it was like 3,600 shots, all in all, VFX shots. And you need to have all the right data coming in order to be able to do that. Slow motion. Has anyone gotten slow motion material that you're supposed to, you know, track and work with after? It's hell. It's total hell. Slow motion, you know how you shoot slow motion. It's a machine that goes really, really fast from point A to point B, shooting 1,500 frames a second, and going that fast, everything shakes. Everything shakes. And it's really, really hard to get accurate data out of it. And also the machines, they are built to make cars, not movies. We're working together with a company called Mark Roberts, and together with them, we've been able to getting data out of the slow motion, so it's really, really accurate for us to put stuff, 3D stuff, inside, and with the FBXs coming out from the camera. Same thing with scaling. You know, when you scale stuff, that's up with Camel back there, it's scale 1 to 5. You want to shoot that in another speed and you shoot your foreground to make it look the same size, etc. And I have to jump in here and say, we work with shooting pixels on pixels. We are not compers. So please don't blame me for what you see up here. I'm just trying to show you technologies that is going to make it easier for you guys to make it look really, really good on film. So, I mean, going back on this one, if you excuse me 1 second. Shooting the plane here, scale 1 to 5, a lot faster than shooting the actor, scale 1 to 1. And once again, you got mathematics. Everything has to align and work. Got something that got stuck here. Yes, 1 second. See if we got it. Sorry. Here we are. Once we've shot everything, all our alembics, all our FBXs, all our foregrounds, backgrounds, automatically get set up as a new project with FBXs, and we also deliver the FBXs. I mean, we have the camera FBXs, and we have the background FBXs. So they all get delivered so that you can start rendering all your setups, and in Nuke, you get everything aligned so that you save time and can work on the shot again. So, getting back to it, for a DOP, on set, this is super important. I mean, if you light something the wrong way, who has been doing relighting? Some of you, yeah. It can be fun. It's fun to relight if you do it for creative reasons. But it's terrible if you do it because everything went wrong on set. Do you go out on set? Who's been out as a VFX sub, or just being out on set, on the shoot? Right, and do they listen to you? No. And that's so wrong. I mean, that's where I come from. And it's so wrong, because the reason the director does not listen is that they don't understand how much impact you guys have, how much you can change stuff. But the good news is that all of the film industry is pushing in your direction. I mean, with the super mega movies coming from over the States, we want to do the same things here, and we cannot be ignorant anymore. And I don't know, for you guys who's been on set, have you seen any change at all with the younger directors, with the VFX savvy directors, with the directors who has been doing this for some time? I mean, there's starting to be a couple of directors around in Sweden now who has CG backgrounds. We worked with a guy called Hugo Guerra a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago. He is post-production. It's getting to be a lot of guys like yourselves turning directors because the directors do not know enough stuff. And more often we see teams where you have an old school director teaming up with a VFX director. Because making a movie is making screen magic. And it has always been that way. We have always been trying to tell lies, to tell stories, to build shots. And I mean, with technology and with the fast boom that we have today, directors do want to be magical. And they can only be that if they work the way you work, or if they understand how you work. And that's getting back to the real-time rendering. What I would like you guys to do, when you get a job, any job, that consists of live action on top of CG, Make sure that you or one of your colleagues get to be on set. Talk to the head honcho. Make sure that you or your people get to have a saying on set. Make sure that they spend hours and money on fixing it in pre. Make sure that you get to do previses that can be used on set, so that you can verify everything and get to know RT rendering. Because with RT rendering, you can be on set, you can hook yourself up to whatever cameras they're using there, with the right data in. You can show the director what's going to go wrong. Or you can help the director to be more brave. Because every single director wants to be that. Every single director wants to make better final comps. It's just a matter of not knowing what to do. And you guys got that information. You guys got that knowledge. And slowly, the directors and the producers understands this. But I think that we as a community have to be more demanding. I think that we have to, I mean, there's so many of us that you will always have someone underbidding. You will always have someone saying that, yeah, I can work on your premises. No, I'm not going to demand anything. But I mean, the reason that we demand stuff from the producers and from the directors is to help them to make the shot look better. I've got a couple of more stuffs coming up here, but before that, any questions at all? No questions at all. I'll move on a bit. Okay, so this is a little tool that we invented. I mean, I've seen so many times people like yourselves doing excellent work with data and everything, sending it off to shoot, and then once it's on shoot, all the data gets messed up, and you have to restart again from start. So we invented this little tool. This is in Maya, but it works in Max and everything. And it's all a matter of, instead of messing with your data, we take our studio and we place it inside your data. So everything that you get back is based on what you have created. And once again, importance of fixing it in pre, importance of previs. Talk to the producer, talk to the director. I mean, if you spend $1 in pre, it's probably worth 10 or 15 or 20 in post. So if you can do your previs, the director can take all his decisions, he can be creative together with you guys, and once on set, he just produces and then sends your data back to you, plus the added camera data, the added camera FBX, etc., etc. Then you will be able to help them to make the shot look better. Yeah, I can show this. This is a little thing we did with a company called Lavette Film. Friends of ours, they sent us this. It's the previs. This is what we shot on set, based on the cameras that they sent us. This is what the camera sees. And once rendered and fixed, it looks like this. A shot that is impossible to take, because there's no way that you'll be able to have a camera in front of that. The remote directing studio view, we've already been through that. And if there's no further questions, or are there? If not, thank you very much.